Hello and welcome to this video. I hope that you're all very well. With the bad weather combined with the driving examiner strike and the cold and the flus that seems to be going round, I thought I'd make this video on how to claim for a refund for a cancelled driving test. Firstly, let's assume that you are not ready for your driving test and you want to cancel it. How do you go about doing it? And how do you go about getting a refund? Well, it's actually quite straightforward. You just log on to the government website, gov.uk/change driving test. The link will be in the text below. Now, when you log in, you'll need to enter your driving license number and your booking application reference number, or alternatively, your driving license number and your theory pass certificate number. You can then cancel your test or you can reschedule it for another day. However, in order to do this without further cost so that you do not lose your test fee, you need to give the DVSA 3 clear working days notice. So if your test is on a Friday and you wanted to cancel, let's say, on the Tuesday, that is not 3 clear days. A lot of people think it is because you've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that's 3 days, and the test is on the Friday. However, the DVSA needs 3 clear working days in between. So the test, if it's on Friday, it needs to be cancelled at least the Monday before, or otherwise you will lose your money. Now, this does not include bank holidays or any other public holidays. So if it's a bank holiday, then you basically classify it as 4 days in between. So with that said, let's move on to, let's say, you're fully ready for the driving test and you're looking forward to it, but you wake up in the morning and you're just coughing away, you're needing some water, warm water, and you're just not feeling up to it. What can you do? Well, firstly, if it's possible, go online and cancel the driving test. Even though the DVSA website will say that you will lose your money, firstly, as I was saying, just cancel it so that at least somebody else has the opportunity to take that slot. So that's the first thing. But whether you cancel the test or you do not cancel the test, you can still claim a refund. Now, the process for claiming this refund is not automatic. You need to submit proof of you not feeling well, basically. You need to get a medical note. So you don't have to post this medical note. You can just get a medical note, scan it, and upload it, attach it, send it off to the DVSA. The DVSA will take about 3 weeks to process, and they will automatically then rebook you another driving test. If, however, you don't want to wait 3 weeks, once you've cancelled your test, you can rebook your driving test straight away. However, you will have to pay for it. You'll need to pay the £62. Having said that, when the DVSA gets your medical note and they try to book a test for you, they will see that you already have a test booked. In this case, they will offer a full refund. The refund will go directly back into the debit or credit card that was used to make the original booking. So if your driving instructor booked your driving test, then you need to make sure that he or she is aware that the money will be coming back into their account. So that's that. So we've spoken about driving test cancelled by yourself within the timescale. So you've given them 3 clear working days notice. And we've spoken about driving tests cancelled at short notice, again by yourself. But what happens if the driving examiner is not available? If the driving examiner wakes up and thinking, oh, I'm definitely not going to work today, the DVSA in that case, they have to automatically rebook you another driving test. Firstly, just like the DVSA wants you to give them notice, 3 clear working days notice, by law, if the DVSA is to cancel your driving test, they must give you 3 clear working days notice as well. However, if an examiner phones up and says, I'm not well, I'm not coming into work, there's not much they can do about it, especially on the first day. On the second and third day of sickness, they probably can make arrangements, but the first day will be too short notice and your test will be cancelled. Now, because the DVSA has not given you 3 clear working days notice, firstly, they have to rebook your driving test. Secondly, you are legally entitled to claim compensation for any losses occurred directly as a result of you missing the driving test. Now, firstly, this could include travel expense. So if you got a theory test, let's say, and that was cancelled, you can claim for, let's say, taking an Uber to the test centre. They will have to reimburse that. If it's a practical driving test, then your instructor would normally charge you a fee for using the car for the test. If your instructor charges you this fee because they've got a, let's say, 24-hour cancellation policy or a 48-hour cancellation policy, then you're entitled to claim that money back. Also, on top of this, you're allowed to claim for any loss of income. Now, whether you're claiming for expenses due to instructor fees or expenses due to loss of income, you will need to provide evidence. Normally a letter from your instructor or a letter from your employer. You can download the form, claim compensation for driving test. Again, the link will be in the text below. So now we've spoken about what happens if the DVSA cancels the driving test due to the fault of the driving examiners, or shall I say due to their fault. And why is it their fault? Because they should have spare examiners to cover up for it. But it works out cheaper for them just to pay you compensation rather than employ a full-time examiner being on reserve all the time. Now we're going to move on to what happens if the test is cancelled due to the weather. This could be fog, snow, or even darkness. So if your test is at 3:30, the last test, and it's just overhead is very cloudy, they may decide not to do the test. Now, if they cancel due to the bad weather, you will not have to rebook another driving test. The DVSA will automatically do that for you. Unfortunately, you will not be able to claim compensation. So you will not be able to claim for the money that you paid to the driving instructor, and you will not be able to claim for loss of income or any other expenses that have been involved in the driving test, in booking the driving test, or shall I say turning up for the driving test on that day. You might ask, why? Why can I not claim compensation? Because it's not my fault. I've turned up for the test. Well, that's exactly what the DVSA say. Why should they pay out when it's not their fault that they've turned up, the examiners have turned up to work, the DVSA's office are open, and they have to pay the examiners, and etc., that they do not control the weather. So that's that. And the last I want to move on to is what happens if a driving test is cancelled due to an issue with the driver or the vehicle. Now, I'm going to give you two examples, one with an issue with the driver and another with an issue with the vehicle. Now, the DVSA has awkward timings for driving test. They have timings like 1:27 and 1:33. It's very easy to mistake this for 1:30 test. So if your test is at 1:27 and you turned up, let's say 1:33, 6 minutes later, the examiner can refuse to do the test. So this is very important that you do check your confirmation email, that you do check the confirmation email and turn up to the driving test 5 minutes before the scheduled time. Now, if your test is cancelled due to the driver error, unfortunately, you would lose everything. You can't claim compensation, full stop. On top of that, you will lose your test fee, the £62 test fee. You will have to book another test and you will have to pay for that test as well. And now I'm going to move on to an issue with, let's say, the vehicle. So you've turned up 5 minutes early and the examiner comes out, you've signed everything, you've read the number plate, everything's fine. The examiner walks up to the car, inspects the tyres and notices there's a cut in one of the tyres, a deep cut. Under these circumstances, the examiner will refuse to do the driving test. Once again, similar to the driver's fault, because this is in effect the driver's fault, because the driver is responsible to ensuring that they bring a reliable car for the driving test. So once again, you will have to rebook and pay for your own driving test. Now, a lot of you going for the driving test will be using a driving instructor's car. So it will be up to the driving instructor to make sure that they have a reliable car and they will make sure that the tyres and everything are okay. That's the service that you are paying for. Now, if looks like I'm one of these people with a little bit of a cold. Now, if you've ever had a driving test cancelled yourself, did you manage to claim compensation? Or did you not bother about it? Or did you not know that you can claim compensation? I would love to hear from you. Please comment in the text below. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.